if you feel comfortable sharing with us, how do you manage those frustrations? Like, what do you do to make it so that they're not taking over?
Breathe. I do. I've gotten to the point where I just don't get to that point, and it took somebody pointing it out to me pretty harshly, that I can come across very abrasive in those dynamics. And I never thought of myself as abrasive, and I'm like, you are calling me abrasive? But it just really hit me, and I was able to make that change actually pretty quickly, and just like I don't want to be perceived. I don't want to be abrasive, and I certainly don't want to be perceived as abrasive. And I know that that's not really going to benefit anyone. And so just, learning to calm down, work through, listening to how these dynamics resulted, and find solutions
That's good.
has come about that way. So.
That's good. And so when you talk about learning how to breathe, help us understand, what do you do to be able to breathe? And because we tell our kids, if you think about it, right, one of the first things we tell our kids is, take a deep breath, count to 10. But
Yeah.
as executives and as leaders, we don't often follow our own advice. So what do you do to consciously make yourself breathe?
I mean, literally like breathing exercise. I know they sometimes refer to them as box breathing. I've had health challenges in the past that result in some things that drove me to seek methods of that. So, really just taking the time to, breathe in, hold your breath, breathe out, take a moment to really, calm your body, right? Because if your mind's spinning and then it forces your body to spin, it's all lost. But it's really, quite amazing what just taking the time to do a few breathing exercises can do to right your mind and allow you to absorb more information.
So you mentioned box breathing, and for the listeners and the people who are watching this that don't know that term, what is it and how do you apply it?
Yeah, and what I learned was a little bit different before I heard of it being called box breathing. And so mine is really just more like breathing in for 7, holding for 4, and out for 10. And so that, especially that slow out breathing to get all of your breath out, feels like the most important part of the whole exercise to me. And it just calms your system, and allows me to keep on with a more rational head.
Oh, I love that. You were talking a lot about frustrations, and knowing you like I do, and like a lot of high performing and high achieving people, oftentimes we get frustrated with ourselves more than we're frustrated with others. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, for sure. I hold myself to really high expectations, and so I do get frustrated with myself if I didn't foresee we were headed down a unfavorable path. And I previously really got frustrated with others, but becoming a leader has allowed me to reflect on, it not necessarily that person's individual's steps, but how we led up to these aspects, right? What were the processes in place? Were the expectations clearly communicated? And I have to be careful not to bring all of that frustration on myself, and just really focus on a continual improvement. That's what's most meaningful, is that we're continually improving, that we're learning from the lessons that we arrive upon each day.
That is wonderful.